Good day, everyone. Once you have mastered the basics in Chapter 1, Lessons 1 to 5, you can build on that knowledge by learning more in Chapter 2. Because in Chapter 1, we were looking back over previously learned information, ensuring it is clear and fresh in the mind. Now, these key facts will give us a better understanding of the work that follows. So, we will continue now with Chapter 2. Now, in this chapter, you will investigate the relationship between pairs of angles that are created when straight lines meet. Right, I want you to look at these two angles here. We have vertex A, we have ray AB, AC, AD. There we can see we have two angles now next to each other here. Vertex A, the one angle's name is BAC, the other angle is CAD, and we call this a pair of angles. Two angles, they are called a pair, but they have certain things in common. Both of them have the same vertex. Vertex A belongs to BAC, vertex A belongs to CAD. So we say these two angles, this angle and that angle, share a common vertex, named point A. Secondly, these two angles also share a common side AC. Side AC belongs to angle BAC, and side AC belongs to CAD. And what else? They are on both sides of the common side. And we have another name for them. This is a pair of adjacent angles. Right? Adjacent angles. So we look again at the properties of adjacent angles. Two angles are adjacent when they share a common vertex. Vertex A there. So vertex A belongs to BAC. Vertex A belongs to CAD. These two angles are also adjacent because they share a common side. This side here. This side belongs to both angles. And we say it has a common side called AC. And these two angles, they are on both sides of the common side. Common vertex, common side, both sides of common side. Look at the examples here. According to this example, this angle marked A and marked B, they are not adjacent. Why? They are not adjacent. You see there? They do share a common vertex, but they do not share a common side. This side belongs to angle marked A only. That side belongs to angle marked B. And we have an angle in between them, so they are not next to each other. So we say they are not adjacent. These two, marked A and B. Yes, they have a common vertex. Yes, they have a common side. And they are on both sides of the common side. They are adjacent. Look at these two here. Are they adjacent? They didn't have a common side. No, they are not, because they do not share a common vertex. That is the vertex of the angle marked A, and that is the vertex of the angle marked B. Now I want you to refer to the angles marked X and Y. State whether they are adjacent or not. If not, give a reason for your answer. Right, let us go over this. X and Y, are they adjacent or not? And your answer is no. Now we have the answers on the next slide. They are not. Why? Because they do not share a common vertex. A common side, yes, but not a common vertex. Vertex for X, vertex for Y. Number 2, are they adjacent? Do they share a common vertex? Yes. Do they share a common side? Yes. They are on both sides of the common side. This 2 here, X and Y, are they adjacent? What is your answer? No. There's an angle in between them and they do not share a common side. Number 4, what do you think of that too? They share a common side, yes, but not a common vertex, and they are not next to each other. Now in the following figure, name 4 pairs of adjacent angles and use the numbers. Tassie, 1 and 2, are they adjacent? Yes. 3 and 4? Yes. 5 and 6? Yes. And 7 and 8? Yes. You can do this exercise on your own and you will have the answers over here. Okay. Now we continue with lesson 2 immediately. We now know, look at this figure here, we know these 2 angles, they are adjacent because of this common vertex, because of this common side, and they are next each on both sides of the common side. They are adjacent. But what else? They also add up to 90. So 90, and immediately we have this new name now, complementary. Complementary angles add up to 90. So they are adjacent and they are complementary. Now this little box here tells us that this line and that line is actually perpendicular because the box tells us that this angle is equal to 90 degrees. Right. This little box tells us that angle ABC is equal to 90. And because it is equal to 90, AB is perpendicular to BC. So that is the symbol here. AB perpendicular to BC. Your symbol for perpendicular is this symbol here. And the 2, they are also adjacent. So when a pair, only 2 of adjacent angles add up to 90, we call them adjacent complementary angles. And we have abbreviations for that. And look at our abbreviation there. Okay, that we will use to save time. So they say here that complementary angles are not always adjacent, but they always add up to 90. Now these 2 angles, we can see immediately they are not adjacent because they do not share a common vertex, a common side. They're not next to each other, but they add up to 90 degrees. So the complementary of 40 is equal to 50. Right? The complement of 40 degrees is 90 minus 40, which is 50. So if I ask you, what is the complement of 10 degrees? Then your answer will be 80 degrees because the one angle will be 10 and the other one will be 80 and they will add up to 90. That is complementary angles. The complement of 75 is So if this one is 75, that one must be 15. Right, so we do it 90 minus 75 is equal to 15. Now here we say the complement of x. We do not know the value of x, but we know to get this part we must subtract x from 90, and that is the simplest form we can leave that answer in. So complete the following. 45 degrees is, and we know 90 minus 45 is equal to 45. So the complement of 45 is 45. The complement of y is, we do not know the value of y, but we know we can subtract it from 90. So your answer here will be 90 minus y. 65 degrees, and that will give us, let us see, 90 minus 65, and that will be 25 degrees. Okay, complementary adjacent angles. This is complementary adjacent. This is only complementary angles. Right, that's the difference. They are complementary because they add up to 90. Now we go to the next one. And here we have the sum of two adjacent angles is sometimes 180. Now what? In this case we can see here's a straight line. These two angles, they are adjacent. They have a common vertex there. They have a common side, and they are on both sides of the common side. But something else. They also add up to 180. So we have another name for them. Because they add up to 180, we call them supplementary angles. So supplementary angles add up to 180. There's another name for them, linear pair. So a linear pair is a pair, two of angles on a straight line that add up to 180. So when a pair of adjacent angles add up to 180, we call them a linear pair or adjacent supplementary angles, abbreviation. Supplementary angles add up to 180, but complementary angles add up to 90. And again, supplementary angles are not always adjacent, but they always add up to 180. So if one angle is 30, the other one will be 150. But in this case, they are not adjacent. Because we know the reasons now. No common vertex, no common side, not next to the common side. So these supplementary angles do not form a linear pair. They also not a linear pair because they are not adjacent. So a linear pair must be a pair of adjacent supplementary angles. The supplement of 30 is, and we know we subtract that now from 180, and it's equal to 150. The supplement of 40 is 180 minus 40, which is 40 degrees. Same thing, the supplement of y. We don't know the value of y, but if we subtract it from 180, we can get it. So we just write it as 180 minus y degrees. So here we have an exercise. Remember, the answers will appear on the next or on the last slide. So fill in the blank answers. Two angles are complementary if they add up to how many degrees? The word complementary tell us that it is 90. The supplement of 125 is, the word supplement tell us we are working with angles that add up to 180. 180. So you will subtract 125 from 180. The complement of 54 degrees is, the word complement tells us it is 90, so it's 90 minus 54. The supplement of x is, we do not know the value of x, but the word supplement tells us that we must subtract x from 180. The complement of 90 plus x is, we do not know the value of x, but we know we must subtract 90 plus x from 90 degrees. Now state whether the following angles marked x and y are complementary, supplementary, or not. And you can give a reason. Right, we start. Are they complementary? Are they supplementary? Okay, we see the little block there that tells us immediately that this angles add up to one. Is it now 180 or is it 90? Right, so we know the block is for 90 degrees. And what are they? They are complementary. This two, do they add up to 90? You can see immediately we have an acute angle, and an acute angle is less than 90 degrees. So x and y, they are not complementary, they are not supplementary, because what is the reason? They're not on a straight line, or they do not add up to 90 degrees. X and y, what do you notice here? They're on a straight line, which means they must add up to 180. Right? So they must be supplementary. The same with x and y. They're on the same side of the straight line, and they must add up to 180, which means they are supplementary. This two here, if that one is 90, remember that we have a straight line here, so all three angles must add up to 180. This one already is equal to 90, so that two must be equal to 90. So they are complementary. This two here, there we have our straight line. X, y, and that one there is 180. So x and y, they are less than 180. They are not equal to 90, so they are not supplementary, and they are not complementary. Refer to the figure below and answer the questions that follow. So you write down all the supplementary adjacent angles for me in your book. Then they ask you, are angles marked 1 and 2? Are they adjacent? Whatever your answer is, you must give a reason. Write down all the complementary adjacent angles. Right, I only see one pair. Are angles marked 5 and 1? Are they adjacent? And we can see immediately they are not. In the sketch, if angle marked 4 is equal to 47, what is the size of angle 3? And you can see they are adjacent and they are supplementary, this two, so they add up to 180. To get angle 3, you'll have to subtract from 180. Work through this on your own, and once you have all the answers, you can look at them over here. Right? Happy? If you are happy, you can continue with our next lesson. That will be lesson 4.